The atmosphere shifted the moment Claressa stepped forward. What had begun as a routine hearing quickly transformed into something far more intense. In her hands were carefully arranged documents, and on her face was a level of focus that immediately drew attention. People in the room sensed that something significant was about to unfold. At first, there was quiet anticipation. No one expected what came next. As she placed the documents on the table, the room fell into a heavy silence. These weren't random papers thrown together at the last minute. They appeared organized, deliberate, and prepared with precision. Financial records, screenshots, and communication logs. Each piece seemed to carry weight. Claressa didn't rush. She moved with intention, allowing every moment to settle before continuing. What followed was not just a presentation of information. It was a controlled and calculated delivery. According to those present, each statement she made landed with intensity. She spoke clearly, pausing at key moments as if she understood the impact of every word. The tension in the room began to rise almost immediately. People shifted in their seats. Quiet whispers started spreading as the seriousness of the situation became more apparent. What had been expected to remain a simple disagreement over finances began to evolve into something far deeper. Papoose, known for his composure in public situations, appeared caught off guard. At first, he attempted to maintain his usual calm demeanor. But as Claressa continued, witnesses claimed subtle changes became visible. His posture tightened. His attention shifted more frequently toward his legal team. There was a noticeable shift in his expression, one that suggested the situation was no longer under his control. For the first time, he didn't seem fully prepared for what was unfolding. Claressa continued presenting her claims, building them layer by layer, each detail added to the last, creating a narrative that suggested more than just a financial dispute. According to insiders, her evidence pointed toward a pattern, one that raised serious concerns about trust and transparency. The reaction in the room was immediate. Some people appeared shocked. Others exchanged glances, trying to process what they were hearing. The calm environment that had existed just moments earlier was replaced with tension that seemed to spread across the entire space. It wasn't just about numbers anymore. It was about relationships, credibility, and reputation. At one point, Papoose reportedly leaned back slightly, as if trying to absorb everything being presented. Witnesses claimed he quietly questioned something under his breath, something that sounded less like a response and more like disbelief. As the session continued, the emotional intensity increased. Claressa didn't just present facts. She framed them in a way that told a story that suggested decisions had been made behind the scenes, decisions that, according to her, had consequences far beyond finances. Her tone remained controlled, but there was an underlying firmness that made it clear she believed strongly in what she was presenting. Papoose attempted to respond, that he pointed out what he described as inconsistencies. He tried to challenge certain details, but according to those present, his efforts didn't carry the same impact. The combination of documentation and Claressa's steady delivery seemed to dominate the direction of the room. The balance had shifted. Those watching were divided. Some were visibly supportive of Claressa, impressed by her preparation and confidence. Others remained uncertain, hesitant to draw conclusions as more information continued to emerge. The uncertainty only added to the tension. Then things escalated further. After addressing the financial concerns, Claressa reportedly introduced a more serious claim. She suggested that there may have been attempts to influence how others viewed her, allegations that went beyond money and into personal reputation. According to insiders, this moment changed everything. The reaction was immediate. Papoose appeared visibly shaken. He adjusted his posture, attempting to regain composure, but the shift was noticeable. His response came, but witnesses claimed it lacked the strength needed to redirect the situation. The pressure in the room became overwhelming. Even those not directly involved could feel it. Conversations grew louder. Reactions became more visible. At times, the environment felt as though it could spiral out of control. Courtroom staff had to intervene to maintain order more than once. By the end of the first session, nothing felt the same. Claressa stood, gathered her materials, and before leaving, gave one final look in Papoose's direction. It wasn't just a glance. It carried weight, something unspoken yet deeply understood. Then she walked away, leaving behind a room filled with tension that refused to fade. What had started as a disagreement over finances had transformed into something much larger. Even after she left, the atmosphere remained heavy. According to sources, Papoose stepped aside with his legal team, reviewing the documents repeatedly. There was a noticeable shift in his demeanor. The confidence he once displayed had been replaced with concern. He was searching for answers. Meanwhile, Claressa wasn't slowing down. Those close to her described her as focused and strategic. She continued preparing, reviewing every detail, and ensuring nothing was overlooked. This wasn't just about defending herself. It was about controlling the narrative moving forward. Back in the courtroom, the battle continued. Papoose attempted to push back by introducing witnesses and presenting his own perspective, but insiders described the situation as chaotic. Every point he raised was met with counterarguments. Every claim faced scrutiny. The exchanges became increasingly heated. Voices rose. Frustration became visible. At one point, Claressa reportedly addressed him directly. Her words were sharp, her tone unwavering. She made it clear that she believed he was fully aware of what he was doing. The moment carried emotional weight, and those present could feel it. Papoose responded, attempting to dismiss her claims. But according to witnesses, his response didn't change the energy in the room. If anything, it added to the pressure surrounding him. The situation had reached a point where every move mattered, and every word was being closely analyzed. Behind the scenes, both sides were preparing for what came next. Claressa continued working with advisors, organizing her materials, and planning her next steps. She was described as relentless, always thinking ahead, always ready. At the same time, Papoose was building his own response, gathering evidence and reaching out to strengthen his position. It had become more than a dispute. It was now a strategic battle. Reports of private confrontations began to surface. In one instance, Claressa allegedly expressed her disappointment directly. It wasn't just anger, it was something deeper. Witnesses described Papoose's reaction as a mix of shock and realization, as if the full weight of the situation had finally set in. By midweek, the intensity reached another level. Claressa presented additional evidence, more records, more communications, more details that expanded the scope of her claims. The reaction was explosive. Gasps were heard. Conversations erupted. The tension became almost unbearable. At times, it felt like everything was on the edge of breaking. Papoose attempted to remain composed, but the strain was clear. Every glance between them carried history, emotion, and unresolved conflict. It wasn't just about what was being said. It was about everything that had led up to that moment. As the session continued, the atmosphere became increasingly difficult to manage. The combination of evidence, emotion, and uncertainty created a situation where no one felt completely at ease. Even those accustomed to high-pressure environments appeared affected by what was unfolding. By the end of the day, both sides looked exhausted, but neither was willing to step back. Claressa had presented a case that could significantly impact how the situation was perceived. Papoose, on the other hand, found himself in a position he wasn't used to, defensive, reactive, and under pressure. And still, it wasn't over. Outside the courtroom, discussions continued. Friends, family, and observers all had opinions. Debates about what was true and what wasn't spread quickly. The situation had captured attention, and everyone was trying to make sense of it. Claressa remained firm. She continued to push forward, determined to protect her reputation and present what she believed to be the truth. Her actions suggested she was prepared for a long fight. Papoose, meanwhile, was regrouping. He was reportedly working closely with his team, analyzing every detail and planning his next move carefully. The pressure on him had increased, and how he responded next would be critical. One thing had become clear to everyone watching. This was no longer just about money. It was about trust, about perception, about the kind of damage that doesn't fade easily, the kind that follows people long after the moment has passed. And as more information continues to surface, the uncertainty only grows. Who is telling the truth? who is shaping the narrative.